to order. If you would bow your heads for a word of prayer. Our most gracious and kind Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Father, we just ask your blessings be upon us during this cold weather that we're experiencing. Father, just be with each and every one out there for their heating needs and the needs in their homes. Father, we just ask that you protect them and watch over them. And Father, give us the spirit to reach out to those folks and help them in any way we can. Father, we just thank you for each and every day that you have blessed us with. And Father, we just ask that you go with us and lead us and guide us and correct us. And most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus. In Christ's name I pray. The next would be the approval of the agenda, I guess.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and second to approve the agenda as presented. All right, the next thing on the and then I'm looking at two different ones here.
We just,
I mixed them up. I'm not sure which one I got. So if I get off track, just let
you
me
got
know.
the public comment dropped off the one. That's why
Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure.
Okay. The next will be the approval of the December 17th, wait a minute. Yeah, Law Enforcement Committee.
That's
A motion.
second.
Second, all in favor? Any public comments? Don't see any. If anybody likes to speak, you're always welcome to do so. First on the reports will be animal control.
A couple of things to add. December, it was a tough month for us. We did end the month at 9.7% euthanasia, which is still under our 10%. It's a little high for us. However, we did end 2024 with a 5.9% total euthanasia rate. And I will have more numbers available next month. I'm trying to work on a new program and it's not coming together very well. And as far as shelter, if I can take a few minutes and let's talk about shelter in this cold weather, okay? Yes, sir.
Please do. I was going to suggest that you mention cold weather and how to protect the animals, not just dogs and cats, but there's a lot of farm animals.
Yes, yes.
Please do.
So in July 1st of 2023, Tennessee passed new state laws on sheltering for animals. In summer months, they have to be have shade. Potable water is expected all the time. And then in certain winter months, they have to have either a straw or bedding type material that will not freeze. And when we talk about that, blankets, sheets, towels, they are not a good idea. What happens is they collect moisture, and then when you have temps, especially like today, they will freeze. The animal can freeze to them, or certain body parts of that animal can freeze to them, okay, causing damage. Potable water. They have got to have potable water at any time. And what that means is if you have animals outside, I have animals outside, there are heated water buckets available. There are, one lady even said, I haven't tried this yet, I thought about trying it, put salt in a water bottle, fill it, and it can help. But with temps going into these single digits and negatives, your best bet is going to be a heated water bucket, guys, if you have to house those animals. State law now requires shelter consists of 3 sides, a floor, and a roof. The dog has got to be able to go in, turn around comfortably, and lay down comfortably. And we are in that month, guys. The bedding is a huge issue right now, okay? Walmart, TSC, Tractor Supply, any of the feed stores have straw or that bedding, okay? Please do not use any kind of material. It will freeze, okay? Anita, do you know if do they still have available straw? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we did have some citizens donate straw, and the Shelbyville Bedford County Humane Association had 10 bales of those. I don't know how many they have left, but I encourage everybody to reach out if they need some. Okay. That is your best bet. Bring them in. No heated water buckets. Just bring them into some warmth. Wire crates, plastic crates, anything you can do when temperatures are this low and wind chills, in the negative.
Very good. And if they're going to use heaters, don't use extension cords to power them.
Right.
We've seen that twice in the last week.
Right. And be careful. And Mark, you might can touch on this. Heat lamps. You don't want them too close to the ground. They can catch fire. And make sure there's a guard on most all of heat lamps. Make sure that guard's up there. And it doesn't have to be like right near the animal's head. It can be fairly up high to provide some warmth off of that lamp.
Yes, and we also recommend that they put like a safety chain, piece of wire,
Yes.
so if the clamp turns loose, something catches it, keep it from hitting the ground.
Yes.
Because they get hot and the metal will expand and get loose.
Okay. All right. Questions? Feel free to call my facility. We do have outlets that we can help the citizens with, things like that. Okay.
Any further questions for animal control?
I saw someone had an idea. They used a crock pot. They put it on, keep warm,
Mm-hmm.
and they put the water in it.
Crock pot. There you go. And honestly, if you can tuck that wire where they can't chew the wire, I really don't see on the warm setting. That would probably be a good idea. So. Oh, we've had several. Right now, the animals that have come into the shelter, I cannot get them spayed and neutered, and I can't do anything with them because they are a part of investigation before anything can be done, which have filled up quite a few kennels. New Destiny Dog Rescue, they did come in today. They have pulled some animals, so we are going to try to rotate some of them up. However, some of them are not so nice, and they cannot come up where they have to be handled every day like that. Oh, and one other thing, I would also encourage citizens, passerbys, if you see an animal and you pick that animal up, guys, you are taking responsibility for it, okay? With that being said, I understand nobody wants to see animals freeze. I do not want to see them freeze. But just keep in mind that you might be taking responsibility for that animal longer than you had planned to. Okay, guys? Setting your own traps to bring animals into facilities, never a good idea. So if you, by your own will, try to capture animals, please keep in mind you will probably take responsibility for longer than you bargained for.
All right. Now, Sheriff, if you don't mind, we'd like to move you to the end since y'all got a presentation, if you're okay with that. Okay. EMA will be next. And we have your report enclosed.
I don't have anything to add to my paperwork. I'll touch on a couple of things. The weather, yes, tonight will be our last cold for a while. It's going to get a little bit warmer. So as the days go on, it's going to get a little bit warmer. Expect some rain this weekend, so that's good. Instead of saying snow, we say rain. They're really getting it done in Florida right now. Talked to a guy in Tallahassee this morning or this afternoon late. It's sleeting there. Like we talked about already, about the Fairhaven has the shelter open. And like I said, we will keep additional information of that. Other than that, we're working with our schools. We're getting ready for a exercise in March. So we're working with our schools and our public safety folks. Also getting ready for that. That'll be a exercise that includes all of our public safety schools and then various avenues of that for both. So we're getting ready for that. The only other thing I have to mention is we have this thing, if you have not seen it on Facebook or heard somebody talk about it, Battle of Badges. It's a blood drive. It's going to be at Celebration at Cooper Steel Arena in the Hall of Fame room. It's going to be the 5th of February. If you see them Facebook and various places, there's a QR code that you can scan and sign up. They were encouraging people to sign up so we can know how many people we have. I do not know, have not heard how many. We have several that's already signed up for that. So please, if you can, do that and sign up. And when you go in, you'll be asked who you're donating for. You get to pick the sheriff's department or whatever. They have like, what do you got, 80 something people that work with y'all? Just say EMA. We just have 3 people, so we know we can't win with some help. So, yeah, I know it. So, and you can't give twice, so we can't double up. So, but yeah, please, if you haven't seen that, or look into it and join us out there February the 5th. That's all I have.
Any questions? Next will be juvenile detention, and we have the report enclosed.
Right.
Probation.
Yeah, he's here.
I don't have anything further to add to the report. Taking questions.
Still active down here seeing clients.
Oh yes, we're still using the building.
Yeah, when I came by there last Friday, I mean, there was a line. They were running in and out there.
It's still actively increasing numbers. I think our biggest day now is 148,
It's good. Good use of the building.
and we started at around 30, 35.
Right. Yeah, and compliance is the name of the game, and this is really giving an opportunity to make sure that we're meeting these clients.
Yeah, we actually had a successful story. One of our homeless pushes the lady around in the wheelchair. He actually completed probation this time. Reporting there.
Good deal. Any other questions for probation? Sure.
They jumped in and handled a situation that could have gotten really out of hand. So, rescue the got themselves. Their team jumped right in, figured it all out.
Thank you.
That just goes to show you how well your public safety and all your departments work together to accomplish a task. I mean, no one department can do it by themselves. It takes your every department out there working together to accomplish things. And I'm proud of it. I know our mayor, the rest of the commissioners are too. Thank you. Okay, Sheriff, you're up. Sorry to move you to the back, but
Good evening to everyone. December is generally a little bit slower month. Obviously, you've got the holidays, in particular with the Drug Task Force, but the Bedford County Sheriff's Department in the month of December patrolled 81,253 miles, 290 investigations, 61 accidents, 45 transported that were in custody, 21 that weren't, 46 911 calls. So it was, I guess, about a little under average, but not too bad. Now, the Drug Task Force a little different. They had 4 investigations in the month of December. Your usual marijuana, methamphetamine, controlled prescription medication. The agency investigated 3 previously convicted felons, 1 previously convicted felon who was at that time currently out on supervised felony parole. Court didn't let up a whole lot. Our court officers searched and scanned in the month of December 4,332 people for 34 court sessions. There were 1,280 individual court cases. Our deputies that were in court security served 15 civil and criminal warrants, took into custody 16 people, and transported 76 inmates from court.
That's the Sheriff's Department report. Any questions?
Ronald Prince is here with the jail.
Alrighty. Our sheriff fees for this month, or for December, was $2,559.91. Comp fees were $148. Sex offenders was $300. The phone revenue was $15,226.58. Commissary was $3,549.24. We took in $48,500 in cash bonds. We also had 7 work crews go out with a total of 15 workers. For the month of December, it was $16,800.
Any questions for the jail?
Quick question. Just off the cuff, as far as those work crews go, I know that we've discussed it in the past. And I know just recently that it has to be a certain temperature before they can go out, and then too hot, too cold. What is the process? Just remind me of the process again of the work crews. I know that they partner with with Mr. Clanton as well, as far as.
So Mr. Clanton, his group picks up some, I think it's like 6 workers, I think it is. And then the others pick up like 1 or 2. They just come up there, they get them, and then they take them wherever they need to do their business at.
Okay. So on most all days that the temperature is where it's supposed to be from a legal standpoint, I guess, do they, most every day, do we have folks that go out, inmates that go out?
Yeah, if their temperatures are up well, obviously we don't want anybody freezing and everything. But if the temperatures are up, then yes, sir, they'll go out.
And when they go out, majority of the time, are they just picking up trash on the side of the road?
Sometimes picking up trash. Sometimes we got some crews that clean buildings and stuff. We have a group that waters dogs at the city animal control. So I mean, it's a little bit of everything.
Thank you.
Is the Shelbyville Parks and Rec still bringing the crew out to the parks?
They used to, but they have. We had some issues with them,
Okay.
and so they kind of backed off on us.
And Ronald, if I'm correct, these department heads that get them, they have to go through training every year, right, in order to receive those.
Yes, sir. Everybody has to go through a 4-hour training class every year, and then they get a certificate from us.
And is the leg monitoring still in place, or did that get rescinded?
It's still in place. Yes, sir.
And our ag folks, I think Helen gets a crew on a regular basis that helps really maintain the entire grounds for all the activities there too. So
Yes, sir.
That's good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Nakia?
So the last about year or so, we've been investigating flock cameras, and I know some of you know what that is, and some of you don't. If you've ever heard of LPR cameras or license plate reading cameras, that's essentially what we're talking about. We're always looking at whatever new technology may help us do our job a little better, be a little more efficient, but they may be for specific purposes. But every now and then, something does come along that I think will really, be a game changer for us. The flock cameras, I think the enhancement that it will give to our department and to safety, I think is well worth the money. And I brought Will Pepper here today. He works for Flock Safety. I wanted him to come here and kind of show you what this product is, what it does, and also what it don't do, and just kind of, I think he can answer questions a lot better than I can. We just started a trial period with this, so we do have some free access. Now, obviously, we don't have any cameras or anything like that, but Flock has given us some access to just try to look through it. But I'm going to let him go through his presentation. We have benefited in Bedford County from Flock cameras in the past, and I'll talk a little bit about that when he gets to the point that he wants me to talk about it, and just show you what we've run across and how it's helped us without us even having Flock cameras. But I'll let Will, I'm going to turn it over to him, let him go through this presentation because he can explain this way better than I can, and then I'll answer any questions that I can.
I appreciate y'all taking time to hear me. Like Chief Elliott said, been working with them for a while, really learned a lot about Bedford County, already working with Shelbyville PD. They are using our cameras and just got started. So anyway, really excited, grown fond of Bedford County. So I'm excited to continue to work. And again, thank you for your time. So just kind of going through. So to introduce myself, my name's Will Pepper and I'm with Flock Safety and I'm the territory manager for pretty much all of Tennessee, about 2/3 of it, a little over that. And so I work with law enforcement and that's, anyway, the agencies, police department, sheriff's offices that I work with. All right. So, to be respectful of time, I just wanted to go through this briefly, but, just a quick agenda is wanted to give a brief overview of Flock Safety. So just to familiarize you, with what Flock is. Second of all, Better Flock Safety comes in and provides its solution. Next is Flock Safety Solve Stories. So I'll go through some that have affected just our community in general, have affected me. I live on the west side of Nashville. And then also some, that Chief Deputy Elliott mentioned that have happened here, in Bedford County and in Shelbyville. And then finally, I just wanted to open it up, and then do a custom strategy for Bedford County. So we'll show you what the game plan is and strategy we've come up with. And then finally, just Q&A and just kind of talk about next steps. All right. So first of all, Flock's goal and our mission is to eliminate crime, shape a safer future together. It's that simple. A little bit about Flock Safety is we are an Atlanta-based company. So that's where we started. We have a little over 900 plus employees. We are a full suite public safety platform. So we have everything from license plate readers to gunshot detection to surveillance and recorded cameras. You can kind of pick and choose what you want, but it also is a platform that you can continue to grow with to increase visibility. We work with 3,800 plus law enforcement partners. And this is a stat I'm really proud of. I'm waiting for 2024's numbers to come out, but 10% of the reported crimes in the U.S. were solved using Flock Safety's products. And we are the nation's largest network of ALPRs, and it's growing by about 1,000 every single week, but we are about to hit the 90,000 mark, so we have 90,000 cameras nationwide. So working with Bedford County, learning more about challenges that they face, where we can come in and help out. There's really three main ones that come that really kind of came to the top, and that was drug trafficking. There's obviously a fentanyl epidemic that's going on in our country. And so, what's coming into our county? Where is it going? Who is it going to? Being able to get insight into that to where the naked eye may just look like a regular car traveling through. We don't have visibility to that. And so that's a challenge that the sheriff's office is facing. The second one is the ability to quickly locate silver alerts, amber alerts, any kind of endangered citizens here in the county. So that's another area where we want to have quick access. We want to be alerted when they're going through. We also want to know where they're traveling. So that way we can bring home, any loved ones if we don't know their whereabouts. And then thirdly is we want to quickly solve burglary cases and then prevent future theft. That's another thing that's hitting Bedford County is they're seeing a lot of burglary cases. Some of them are really hard to go off of. Maybe there's just a vehicle description. There's no license plate number or tag that's seen, but being able to, help recover stolen assets or home burglaries and just get help in those areas. So these are the main challenges that we're facing today. So Flock Safety solution is twofold. and that's being proactive approach and having an investigative approach. What I mean by those is with proactive approach, these are vehicles, wanted persons, any people who have warrants out, amber alerts, silver alerts, hot list, which if they're not on the list yet, but we need to quickly find someone, they can do that, and anything on the NCIC that enters Bedford County. And then the investigative part is maybe it's somebody who hasn't committed a crime yet, but it does take place. Well, we got to have leads to go off of using a vehicle. So having this tool to be able to investigate, have immediate leads to go off of is a critical piece that the sheriff's office really is wanting to get help with. And that way they can run better investigations and solve more crimes. So with that, as clearance rates increase, crime rates decrease. And so what they'll see is a pattern that every flock customer in Flock City and Flock County sees, which is we start nailing down any people that shouldn't be here or people with bad intent. And then they become a deterrent. So people know that, hey, Shelbyville has flock cameras. Bedford County has flock cameras. If you're going there for bad reasons, probably don't do it. It's a pretty bad idea. You're probably going to get caught. So the way that we do this is our suite right here. I mentioned these earlier, but we have the Falcon, which is our license plate reader. We have the Raven, which is gunshot detection. Condor, which is the PTZ, so pan, tilt, zoom, live and recorded video camera. And then Wing, which this is pretty amazing too, but this is just integrating any pre-existing camera system into Flock Safety's platform. So as businesses or churches or communities want to get on board, they can, if they choose to, have their camera system integrate straight to the Flock platform to give visibility to the sheriff's office. Mm-hmm. So the one that we're going to focus on today is just the Falcon, and that's the license plate reader. So this is where Flock is different than any other LPR system out there. There are multiple brands. I always tell you, do your due diligence, research them, but this is where we're going to differ from the others. We have what we call our vehicle fingerprint technology. So with this is where it doesn't matter if they don't have a license plate. There's license plate readers, which just read the tag. But what happens if you have no tag? What if there's a partial tag? What if it's a fake tag? You're just SOL at that point. And you just don't have anything to run on. So with us, though, we do search off of vehicle identity. So as far as like vehicle make, trailers, and then we can do partial tags, missing tags, and temp tags as well. So with Flock Safety, and this number has increased actually a good bit since, but we have 10 billion plate reads per month. That's across all of our cameras throughout the nation. So like I mentioned, we're the nation's largest network. And then I want to touch on the flywheel portion of it. So what I mean by that is with Flock, you're also not just getting the license plate reading cameras, but you're also getting 3 segments that are working hard for your community. I work with law enforcement alone. We have another rep that works with HOA. So, your neighborhoods, your apartment complexes. And then we have ones that work with and just increasing, once again, visibility, creating a safer community for you. And just to touch on these to give real life examples of, ones around Bedford County. So agencies that are using Flock around or in Bedford County are Shelbyville PD, Manchester PD, Coffee County Sheriff's Office, Murfreesboro PD, Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Pulaski PD, McMinnville PD, Spring Hill PD, Williamson County Sheriff's Office. I promise I won't read any more after that, but it's 3,500 cameras across the state. So with the flywheel as well, we have a national agreement with Lowe's Home Improvement. So currently there's already 3 cameras. If you want to go by Lowe's, you see a black pole and you see a camera, that's what those are. So you gain access to those as well. So the city has access to those, or the police department rather, and Bedford County Sheriff's Office would get access to those as well. I'd like to touch on this just to get ahead of it, but we are huge on protecting privacy at Flock. If we weren't, I promise you I would not be here. What we do and what I mean by this is footage is owned by the agency and the city and will never be shared or sold by Flock. So we have a 30-day retention policy. Somebody asked me about this earlier, but the state policy is 90 days. We do 30 days because if it's not attached to a crime, it shouldn't matter. It's going to get washed out. The other thing is short retention period ensures that all data that is not associated with the crime is automatically deleted and unrecoverable. And then this is going to take the human bias out of crime solving as well, because this is detecting objective data and detecting events that are objectively illegal, like stolen vehicles, as an example. Other thing is all data is stored and securely put in the AWS government cloud. We have to have a search reason, and an audit trail is provided for every single search that's done. So you can't just search for the sake of searching. You have to put a specific reason tied to a case, tied to an event that happened, like, Walmart robbery, something like that. And then we also do not use facial recognition software. We're not ever going to do traffic enforcement. I can truly say I've spoken with our CEO about this. What I mean by this is those tag readers that go by and will pick up speed limits. We're never going to do that. He said the PR on that would be awful. We're never going to be doing that as part of our cameras. So that's something that will not happen with Flock. We also have end-to-end encryption of all data. No personally identifiable information is contained in Flock, and we're not connected to any registration data or third-party databases such as Carfax or the DMV. That is not true for other LPR providers, though. And then the other thing, lastly, is we have a transparency portal. And to segue over to that, as you can see, this is an example of one. And not every agency takes advantage of this, but this is something we do offer. So it's customizable for each agency. We can display your technology policies on there, publish usage metrics, and also share downloadable search audits. So I mentioned you have to have a search reason for everything. We can publish those search audits as well. The other thing too is, to the county commission, you want to see, well, not just Flock's a great tool, but what's the ROI on this? Well, we can actually, through our edit outcomes button, record every single event. So if there's an apprehension, if there's a stolen vehicle recovered, stolen assets recovered, drugs, guns, that's all recordable right in that certain case. And then you can go to the Insights tab, print that out, and show exactly what it has done. And it's shown some incredible stats with other agencies I worked with that have been absolutely mind-blowing. So that can be recorded to show what you're getting for your return on investment. And then just some examples here. I think I have Morgan Hill PD and Vallejo PD is some customers of ours who have this transparency. So wanted to touch on this story really quickly. Who you're seeing up here is a mother and her child. That is baby Mateo. This was the first ever Amber Alert or Amber Alert case that Flock solved. And it's a very proud moment in our company, as you can imagine. So I want to show the power of this, and being the father of two little girls, this means a heck of a lot to me. And what happened in this case is Chamblee is a city just right on the outer edge of Atlanta. And this mother was walking her child in a stroller and around the apartment complex. And next thing she knows, people hop out of a car, snatch a child, and they're gone. They had absolutely nothing to run off of except for a grainy video from the apartment complex that was a side shot of the vehicle. So what happened was Chamblee's police department had Flock, thank God, still do. And they took this video and they went through Flock and they searched the vehicle, which happened to be this red Acura SUV with a back rack or a top rack. So with that, they ended up whittling it down, found one vehicle that fit the exact picture that they had, and they ended up finding a license plate number for it. So once they put it in Flock with a valid search reason that there was an Amber Alert, they found it had only hit between Chamblee, which is basically Atlanta, and Carrollton, Georgia. With that information, they then saw the heat map that saw it kept pinging around Carrollton, Georgia. So then that connected them with the Carrollton Police Department. They ran the tags. They got the registration, who the vehicle's registered to, ended up finding the residents. Went there. No one was there, so they surrounded the house. That vehicle, sure enough, pulled in. Long story short is they apprehended the suspects, found the baby safe. The baby had actually been dressed up as a little girl to try to hide the identity of the child. But within 5.5 hours, because of Flock, they had returned this baby back to its mother after the Amber Alert had been issued. So just a powerful story that you think, how can we protect our community? Flock can do this. And then I like to touch on this story because this is 1.2 miles from my house. I looked it up exactly. But I live on the west side of Nashville. That came through and nobody knew it. They ended up robbing an ATM repairman out at the Bank of America right in front of Publix on Charlotte Avenue. Guys took off, continued to work down west side of Nashville and going to Kingston Springs. Thank God Kingston Springs has alert. These guys are on NCIC. They knew they were out there, found the vehicle, ended up apprehending all three suspects, and these are actual pictures of the thousands of dollars of cash that they recovered. I'm extremely thankful that Kingston Springs has these cameras because they not only solved a case, but they also got these people off of our streets, and God knows who else is going up and down them right now, but these flock cameras ended up solving this case. Next, Chief Deputy Elliott alluded to this, but he has talked about some areas where flock, even not having it, has helped them solve crimes. So I just wanted to call him back up here and have him kind of tell the stories.
Again, before you tell a story on that, hypothetically, if a vehicle is reported stolen to you right now, what's the process, and how does all of your deputies find out about it?
How do they find out about it being stolen?
Yes.
Well,
So
obviously
somebody has to take a report.
the owner would report it. Deputy would respond, gather the information. Hopefully they've got enough information that we don't have to go back and search because they don't know their tag number and they don't know their VIN number.
Exactly.
And do that report, then get it entered into NCIC, and then hope that somebody runs that tag somewhere. But the difference would be in that situation, that would be with flock, we could enter it into this system. And you know what a BOLO is, be on the lookout for. We essentially send out a BOLO to every camera that flock has in the United States. And we don't have to worry about, just an officer being in the right place and recognizing that vehicle from Bedford County that they probably hadn't even heard of. That camera hits and sends us a notification, and we can instantly start tracking at that point. Then we can notify, those communities that have cameras, they're going to be notified. There's a stolen vehicle out of Bedford County that just came into your county, and they're going to respond from that point. I think when he was talking about the Amber Alert, 5 hours, that is a short amount of time from the time that child was taken to the time that it was recovered. When you start thinking about the call and the reporting and trying to get all the information so that you can get it and then getting it pushed out to everybody. That's extremely fast. And we've had in Bedford County, even though we don't have the flock system here, we've benefited from it by luck, honestly. The first time that we had a case here in Bedford County that I thought this is something that we need. We had an elderly lady with dementia that was reported to us to be missing. She had left home, no idea where she was going, although there were some indications that she could possibly be going out of state. But that's really all we knew. One of our detectives, Sergeant Brown, just started calling, and he got a hold of somebody in Kentucky, and they said, well, we've got flock cameras. Do you have a video? And we started, once they entered that information, we were able to track that. Had come back around, and we actually got our hands on her in East Tennessee. But that's not something that we would have been able to do without flock. And to be honest with you, that's a case where it was just luck because we certainly didn't have access to it. So, but that was one where, I really started seeing the benefits of this, because we think about things in aspects of solving crime, but these are so effective in just about everything that we do in protecting our community. And like he kind of already mentioned, involves vehicles and involves travel. What I really like about the cameras is Bedford County, and he's going to get to this, but if Bedford County's paying for, but this is like a net, anticipating we gain access to all those cameras. Unfortunately, things don't just happen in Bedford County and stay here. They leave, they go to other counties. With places like Lincoln County coming on board, Coffee County coming on board, Murfreesboro on board. Now, all of a sudden, we have a tool where our entire mid-state area is working together. But right now, the PD coming on board, like they've only got 2 right now, but they're in the process of getting their 12. That's going to be huge. But if Bedford County, if we can get this out in the county, all of a sudden, everywhere there's a camera, you close one of those gaps. We know that it passed this camera. Now, what's the next one? We know it passed this camera. So, we also had and I want to be careful how I say that. We're currently our guys are working on a case that is dealing with child pornography. And because we've entered into a trial period, we don't have any cameras, but Flock has let us work with the system, so we're taking advantage of it everywhere we can. We have a suspect that we're tracking, just to see what. Now, I don't want to go too far into that case, but we're actively using it right now. However, that suspect's movement within Bedford County there's a big blind spot there for us. So, but we are actively using it. Everybody remembers the road rage incident, Normandy Road. When we got to that call, we were given a vehicle description by the victim. That was it. And Mark, you know this. When we go to a call, we'll have people tell us what color the vehicle was. They'll tell us what kind of bumper sticker it had on us. And we'll say, did you get a tag? Forgot about that. I didn't get a tag. And, but with their technology, that's fine. If we know that it's a white Chevrolet truck with a a sticker in the back glass, we can search off that and we can narrow that thing. Now, there's going to be a lot of white pickups that go through cameras, but we can start to narrow things down and kind of hone in on the vehicle that we're looking for. But that particular one, we knew that we were looking for a white Saturn. That's what we knew. That's what they told us. That vehicle showed up on Manchester's Flock cameras. Once we were able to kind of narrow that down, now we had to do a lot of legwork first to narrow down exactly what we were looking for. But once we did, and we got with Manchester and went like, hey, can you check? There it is. Your suspect's in Coffee County. So that would have been a lot simpler process had we already been on board with it. But so we've started trying to utilize other places that have it when we can. But it's so much faster, so much more efficient if we have access to it. And if we have our own cameras, we don't have to wait until somebody goes into another community and hope that they get on a camera in that area. I was thinking about a situation when I was thinking about Flock. We had it's been a little over a year ago where I wish we would have had this. Fortunately, everything turned out well, but we were notified about a lady that had made a school threat online that she was going to shoot up a school that day. And that was pretty much it. We did know that the location of this individual was not in Bedford County, but along the border. And now, of course, we went through, we put all of our schools on secure to, try to keep anybody from being able to come in and out of the schools. But we knew who we were looking for. We knew the vehicle description. And I think to myself, if we would have had a Flock camera on 41A North near community school in that area, as soon as that vehicle would come past that camera, we'd be notified. That vehicle is in your area, and this is where that vehicle's at. And we would just be able to respond and react so much faster. Now, in that case, they were able to locate her, and, everything ended up okay. But, these are just the things that we've got lucky. But it also makes you wonder how much is coming through right up under your nose that you don't know about. The city, and they have told me that it's okay for me to say this, is why I'm saying it, but the city has just recently made 2 arrests on a meetup with underage juveniles. They were tracking both those on Flock cameras because they've signed up, they've got access to it. So there's just so many things, whether it be Amber Alerts, Silver Alerts, crime investigation, crime prevention, that I think this would be useful. And that was really the purpose of tonight, was just to show it to you. Because obviously Flock is a great company, but I've been trying to talk to Will and he won't give it to us for free. So obviously there is funding that's required, but that's why we're here. I want you to see what it is, because this is something that going forward and, next year's budget, whatever the case may be, I would like to look at. And I'll let Will get into some more of of that part of it too.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Chief Deputy. So just to kind of show the custom strategy that we have, this is the actual map, and this is a complete county lockdown. So just kind of go through it really quickly. Highway 41A north and south, Highway 64 east and west, Highway 231 north and south, Highway 130 west, Highway 82, and Highway 130 east, along with Highway 82 and 269. So, second bullet point there is we have 14 LPRs that give the full county lockdown. 8, however, is the minimum to really cover all main entries into the county. So I have plenty of agencies that do multiple phases. So if that's something you're more comfortable with doing, I know funding is obviously part of the equation. 8 is the minimum to do main entries, but 14 would be the full county lockdown. But this is our game plan and strategy that we've built. So overall, the solution for Bedford County near real time. This is a force multiplier. And so you can think of it this way. Each camera is like hiring a deputy for $3,000 a year. There's no, that works 24/7. There's no sick days, no benefits. Make sure I get all the points here. And it's alerting the sheriff's office of who's coming in and out of the county. So that's all NCIC alerts, Amber alerts, Silver alerts, etc. So the final thing is the ask. What we ask of the commission and what we're asking is we don't know what we don't know. Please, help the sheriff's office to get better visibility, to have that insight that they currently don't have, which, Flock gives Bedford County Sheriff's Office that insight that right now is just not there or made more difficult, and, closing cases faster to be able to do this. The second thing is multiply Bedford County Sheriff's Office. I know, I've talked with Chief Deputy, and it would be a great thing if they could add more deputies to the force, but that's really expensive. 6 figures plus expensive. And so basically adding these cameras would multiply the sheriff's office force at a fraction of having to find, hire, and also retain more deputies. The other thing is just, we just ask that you prioritize the safety of Bedford County as the number one thing for your citizens, and give them the tools that's going to allow the sheriff's office to do what they do best, keep the community safe. And then really the last thing is, if we just started with the minimum of 8 to hit all main entry points, this is only $24,000 a year. So I don't want to speak out of terms, but I know, Chief Deputy and I talked about the cost of hiring one new deputy that's going to take sick time. It's going to, not work 24/7, is well over $100,000. So this is $24,000, and you get this insight with all these entry points coming into the county. So we just ask that you would consider funding for this, and that way we could do everything that we've covered today. And then final portion, just wanted to, my clicker's not working, but open it up to any kind of questions, anything that I could help answer.
Nakia has been working with my office. We're trying to figure out a path that would potentially allow us to at least get the first year in place for this, which obviously it would have to come through some kind of a budget amendment unless we could find within their budget structure the path, which is very limited. So we'll, Finance Committee, look at this once Finance Department and myself can figure out a path that we'll put forward for y'all's consideration. That would potentially allow us to get started with this. And I think I know this.
Yeah.
Like year to year, it could be 1 year contracts that renew.
That's correct. Yeah, you can start with the 12th month.
Now, obviously, it wouldn't make sense to not go into it thinking that we were going to find a path, but there may be an option through capital projects that would let us do the first year. A reoccurring expense really would need to then roll to budget to be the ideal solution going forward. But the first time, because of the install, the actual acquiring the cameras and what have you, would probably meet the criteria for it to be one time out of there. So we're taking a look at that because we have some other challenges in front of us, obviously, capital projects. And so if we get an opportunity to make an enhancement there that would allow us to do that, we certainly would bring that forward to the commission, asking them to consider.
And one thing, I don't know if we made it clear on that, but the 8 cameras, that would be our minimum buy-in to get access to the 90,000 cameras. So the 14 would lock Bedford County down as far as all of the pathways in and out of the county. But the 8, that would be, correct me if I'm wrong, Will, that's what it would require for us to gain access to the entire system.
Yeah, that is
And that's a dollar amount we're trying to see if we can find.
Yeah, so it's you can do year to year. It's a lease, so the equipment's leased itself. The only time do we need to put poles up, can we attach it to pre-existing poles? That's the only time it's different. Other than that, it's $3,000 per camera per year. So any act of God that damages the cameras, we replace. If the state comes out with lime green plates next and it throws them for a loop, we will replace those at no cost because that's what we did for the blue plates. All maintenance, software updates, everything. It's unlimited users. If you don't have them, you can have that on the go with you.
Commissioner Hill.
If there's an issue, what's the turnaround time? I know you could probably do it sitting in California. What's your turnaround?
Turnaround time for like if a camera goes down. It's generally speaking, it's pretty quick. It usually just kind of like putting the pole up is what it comes down to. I would say I've usually seen it's like a week around, just to believe whoever's closest. They have plenty of materials. They'll go out there and install it. So that's what I've seen. But I've actually only seen like probably 2 or 3 that have had to have that. So.
One thing I want to make sure we're clear on. We're not going to be taking pictures of people's expired tags, running stop signs, and sending them a letter in the mail telling them they owe speed limits and all that.
If that was even an option, I want him to cut it off. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about was that this is not traffic enforcement. We're looking for the things like he was talking about, and in fact, their cameras won't even do that. I think he mentioned that because that's one thing. That's one of the first things I asked him. Because I don't want people thinking that, hey, Bedford County's out here trying to make money off speeding tickets. I wouldn't want access to that. I don't want to do that. And as he said, the boss man, they won't even allow that. So that's not what we're going to do.
That's the reason I wanted you to make that clear, is because we're talking about putting speed limits on the roads now, and and now we're going to put up cameras. Bad time.
Yeah, just to go further on that, out of respect to them, there was a sheriff in Tennessee that asked me if we could do it, and that's what prompted the question. And so he said, "Can we pick up speeding on this?" And I asked our CEO, and he said, "No, I will never do it. PR on that would be terrible." And I was very happy to hear that, because just be careful if you drive in West Tennessee. There are plenty of those that do it, but we don't, and I've confirmed that.
And I think the THP has readers on their cars, but it's a different system, and they may very well be doing the things that you're referring to, but this does not
Correct. Yes.
affect or reflect necessarily what individual counties would be doing with such a system as this.
Yeah, and this is a different system. And of course, one thing I really like about this system versus the others is, they're using LPRs, which is the license plate reader. Flock's system with that fingerprint system, you can search by just vehicle characteristics, which is a game changer. And that's why I think this particular system really is a game changer. Because it is rare that I go to a call or any of our guys go to a call and somebody says it was this vehicle, license plate number, whatever. That's not what we get. So that's, their system is different.
Any further questions?
No question. I just have a comment. Mr. Pepper, thank you for your presentation. Very thorough. It seems that the system's extremely integrated with NCIC, other agencies across the state. I personally feel that we would benefit from this technology for now. From what I see and hear, I believe technology is definitely something that helps us as a society, and I trust that your system would be a benefit for our county. My only challenge will be, of course, from a budgetary standpoint, is to the sheriff's office to make sure that we're, I trust that you all will take a look at your budget thoroughly and make the best decisions for that budget. It seems to me that it's $24,000 for the peace of mind and also for the security that it would bring the citizens of this county. Again, I'll state that I am a fan of this system so far from what I've seen tonight. I just challenge us to make sure that we're smart with our money and our budget.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Any other questions?
Hearing none, thank
All right. Thank you all.
you. So at this point in the meeting, we need a motion to approve the reports as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any other reports? Hear none. Old business was a letter of support for the corrections in-service training. I think that was enclosed in the packet.
Correct.
That everybody, and Mayor, help me, I don't think there is a bill at the present time.
I'm not seeing it come up yet. Of course,
I
you know, they're
haven't
just now
either.
getting into session, but
They're just now getting into session, but they did give us a letter in support. And what this is your fire department and EMS as well. So they have to do 40 hours in-service training, and then the state gives them a supplement check in the amount, I think it's $800 or so. And then that's deposited in the county, and then the county gives them that check. And we're just asking that we, in that process too. So, I don't know how we want to get this signed, maybe the next commission meeting or something, have one letter.
we're happy to circulate the letter if that winds up being the wishes or the intent.
Yeah,
we
whatever.
will make a correction and call it the Public Safety Committee instead of just law enforcement. Now, we're still new into our new
Exactly.
title for this committee, but I think it's more reflective of the general process in that it is Public Safety Committee.
Yeah.
So we can do that. I don't know if the commission would want to vote on that or if the commission would just feel comfortable. I mean, it doesn't bind anything. I think it's a letter of support for the cause. We'll put it on the agenda.
Whatever This-
Documentation.
that we're in.
Yeah, so move
We're
to
sending it to the commission, and then if, I think it's a good thing to do. I mean, it's state funded. Now, whether or not they can come up with money to do so is on them. It doesn't cost the county.
Mayor.
Send.
Just a quick question. So are there other counties doing the same thing for our corrections officers?
I think so, but I'm not the genesis of this. I believe Commissioner Thomas, but
Yeah, I don't have it in writing, but I know that there's been talk of whether or not the counties are sending a letter of support. Talked to Pat Morris about it, and it's not the first time this has come up. It got turned down last year. During- That's correct.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I don't know a bill number yet. Have you seen anything? Oh, okay.
I've looked, but I hadn't been able to track it down.
It may not
Sometimes
pop
can-
for on the front end. So, I mean, I think if there's interest in it, you should send it on to the commission and we'll get the document in place and then we'll just hold it if that's acceptable till we identify the bill to tag it to so it will track correctly. But whatever the group wants is okay. That's fair.
But I have a motion from Commissioner Pinson to send it to the commission with our
Commission.
support,
Letter.
letter of support. Have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any new business? Announcements? Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to order something.